Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I have one important statement to make, and that is, I shall be brief. In the last 2 days, every prepared word in my remark have been taken out of it, so I will only highlight a couple of points. First, I'd like to offer my commendation to the India Foundation for successfully giving traction to the India-Pacific notion. It doesn't really matter whether you can find the definition to the notion or not. Many things in life you can't fit in neatly into a box, but at least you have an idea. It has been said many times that the India-Pacific strategy is about openness, inclusiveness, and participation. People participate because there's a new adage, a modern adage, believed to be coined in Washington in the year 2000, that is, if you're not at the table, you could end up on the menu. So you are at the table, and the chance to be on the menu is pretty slim. Participation is about collectiveness, and in the modern days economy, that countries are driving towards the 5Gs or the Internet of Things, connectivity is the sine qua non, the essential part of modern days. And in that area, Thailand is doing her part in promoting connectivity in the region and in the global arrangement. We are a founding member of ASEAN, and next year we'll chair the ASEAN. Will be the chairman of ASEAN, as well as the coordinating country between ASEAN and India. And we also take part in many fora, such as BIMSTEC, ECMEC, CLMVT, APEC, ACD, and many forums. And these days, I could dream in acronyms. And through these fora and conferences, Thailand is doing her part in promoting peace and stability in the region. Throughout this conference, you heard a great deal about freedom of navigation, maritime navigation. But I would like to draw attention to one initiative which could have far-reaching ramification in the security and prosperity of the region, and that is the trilateral India, Myanmar, Thailand highway. Why? Because this highway starts from India, it goes through Myanmar, reach out to Thailand, and that leg is supposed to be completed next year. And then it goes to another city in Thailand, goes to Cambodia, and then ends in Vietnam. This is a highway. There's another highway that is being built from Dawai in Myanmar to Kanchanalak, and Dawai is probably one of the most important seaport route in the world, and Japan is taking part in that. From Kanchanaburi, it links up to Cambodia and again in Vietnam. So if you have this highway and you have the railroad being built in parallel to the highway, at the end you have the longest and most important land bridge linking the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean from New Delhi to Da Nang. In connection with building the infrastructure connectivity, it's important we pool our resources together. Otherwise, if we don't, no one has enough resources to do it all alone. And every initiative will end up where it starts, in the drawing board. India has one of the most successful infrastructure funds in the world. It funds many, many infrastructure projects without having those expenses on the balance sheet of the country. We can learn from that, and if we can create a network of a similar financing facility in the region, this connective infrastructure connectiveness can happen. Otherwise, the chances are very slim. And I agree with Secretary Wells this morning that the government alone cannot undertake all these projects. The private sector has to participate. And how it's done, probably like one of the speakers said, that the private sector is probably faster than diplomats in making it happen. As Thailand is assuming the chairmanship of ASEAN in 2019, we do it with full recognition that ASEAN centrality is key to any successful attempt in creating seamless connectivity in the region. After all, at the end of the day, in promoting connectivity as a conflict resolution, where everybody benefits, it's not certain and not necessarily somebody else's loss. And it's not about dividing up equally the region or the piece of pie, but it's about creating a whole that is larger than the sum of its part. And that is what I would call a win-win strategy. There's a story that illustrates very well I think it's the best to win, what is a winning strategy is. And it shared with me by a very dear friend in Oman. When he was a young boy, he was a soccer player. He went to practice at the end of school day, and at the end of the practice, he came home being so thirsty. He remembered that in the morning he put 2 oranges in the refrigerator. So he went to the fridge right away, tried to grab the 2 oranges, only to find out that they're gone. He asked his mother where the oranges were, and his mother said, "Oh, your sister took them." The boy he protested that, "No, but they're mine. I told you this morning they're mine. I want to come back and have them. Would you please at least tell my sister to give 1 to me? She can keep 1. I will have 1." He thought that was a win-win strategy. But his mother said, "No, you go to your sister and tell her yourself." So he went, and he said to his sister, "You can have 1 orange, and I can have another 1. His sister looked at him and she said, "Brother, I don't really need 2 oranges. All I needed was to make marmalade. So if you let me peel the oranges, I keep the orange peels, make my marmalade, and you can keep the 2 oranges to yourself." And that is, ladies and gentlemen, a winning strategy. Thank you, and the applause goes to my Omani friend. And in the end, ladies and gentlemen, peace and prosperity go hand in hand. If the fruit of prosperity is not shared, peace cannot be achieved. And if peace is not achieved, prosperity is not sustainable. The zero-sum game leads to that. And I think that conundrum weighs heavily on everybody's mind. I don't need to address it, but we don't have to come up to get to the dead end, because at that point, if one insists on winning everything, a zero-sum game, and it leads to conflict. Ironically, conflict and war is never a zero-sum game. It's non-zero-sum game. At that point, there's no winners, only losers. Thank you.